Why is it always like tilted? I can never get it straight. Anyways, hey, chopped, pretty on brand for me. So, sitting in that stadium and watching sports was the last thing. I have this mic over. What the actual? I have this mic and I just had this over here and I was like, okay, let me grab this. What is happening with me? Okay, so sitting in that stadium and watching sports. By the way, I have like a few notes, so I'm like, sitting in that stadium and watching sports was the last thing I wanted to do. So this is from like 2007 or 2008, and this is like 2026. So this is like 2 decades ago. Yeah, guys, I'm 2 decades old. Not exactly more than 2 decades older, but like, actually, will it be 2 decades old or will it be 2 decades older? I am crossing 2 decades. You know, I think it's okay. I get it. You know why all of this is happening? Because of this. I am on Monster since last 2 days. I'm like binging. I have so many cans on my table, and I think it's because of my extreme caffeine intake and declining sleep deprivation that I don't know. Okay, this is peak energy. This is, by the way, this is okay. So this is 2007, 2008. Okay, and I don't like sports. I don't like playing them, actually. I don't know if I like. I've never understood sports. I've never understood sports, right? And I don't know why, because maybe I don't like playing them. I like badminton, but I don't like the idea of moving your body outdoors, like in a stadium or a playground, basically on a ground under the sun. No, that's not for me. I'm more of like sitting by the window on a big skyscraper. It's raining outside and I have my diary and a pen, you know, and I'm writing something. It's more of my scene, and I have like some Diet Coke next to it. But moving my body outdoors is not my thing. So our school would host, this is when I was a kid. This is when I was, I think, in class 3rd or 4th, I don't remember. And our school would host an annual sports ritual. Not a ritual. An annual sports function sort of thing. It would go on for 2 days, right? So it's not that the sports would only happen for those 2 days. It's just that it was like a big thing. Sports would happen every day. I mean, our school had a dedicated, can you believe our school, am I autistic? So our school had a dedicated stadium for cricket, I guess. Not cricket. No. There were multiple sports that would happen, that people would play in that big stadium. We had many playgrounds. They had a big land, to be honest, and that's the only one thing I can flex. It's not even my property. Why am I flexing? And it's been like a decade now that I've left school, so what's the point of flexing? And it's not even like no. I definitely have something. I don't know what that is. Like, it's not normal overthinking kind of a thing, right? I spiral. So what I was saying is that it was like a 2-day thing, Saturday, Sunday, and there were participants, but then the other students who would not participate, we will have to come to cheer up for other students and also for the attendance, you know. I never wanted to, like, I don't understand personally, and I totally get it for other people. Like, I have watched cricket in a stadium, an actual cricket, and I enjoy it because it's full of people and everything. But in school, it's a different thing, you know. You have kids like of your age sitting next to you, and I don't know, it's a different, and you don't have pizza like you would have in a normal cricket stadium, right? So my point is that, so back to the story. So it was a 2 day thing. It was a 2 day event, a Saturday and Sunday, and I had to show up in school because of my attendance. I mean, cheering up other students who are running, what difference does it make? I'm sitting on, like, first of all, when I say that our school had a dedicated stadium, it doesn't mean it was big. It was definitely big, but it didn't have like so many sitting. What do you call that? That circular ring? You know, it wasn't like a proper stadium. It was just like. It wasn't like a Colosseum sort of a situation. It was just 3 rows. So, okay, let me tell you. Like, you can say that 3/4 of the stadium, 3/4, had like 3 sitting rows, 1, 2, and 3. And this 1/4, which was like the main highlight, it was big. It had like, I don't know, 50, 60, not 50, 60. I mean, it had rows. So I was sitting in that corner, and it was peak 12 p.m. summer. Sun is directly on me, and I think I don't know what month this was. Maybe October, maybe November. I don't know. It was very sunny. It was very sunny. It was peak time, and I think I was eating oranges. Now the thing about me is that I don't know. I always get nervous whenever I have to eating. I get nervous eating certain things in public. I can never eat noodles in public. I can never eat burger in public. And oranges is a different league, eating an orange, because the story of noodles, burger, and all these things is because it's very inconvenient. When I'm at home, when I'm in my bedroom when I'm locked all with myself, it's easy. I can do anything, right? I'm not ashamed of people who are sitting in my vicinity or anything. I'm not even I don't even want to say that people judge you when you eat in public. Like eating a burger, it's a big thing, right? Eating a burger. And noodles, you have to like suck it all in, and you never know when it's gonna you just twist your fork 2-3 times, and you don't have an idea when that single noodle is gonna stop. So you just keep like sucking it. Doesn't feel right. Sucking is not the word, right? I don't know what the correct word is. You just keep rolling with it. I don't know. And that's the reason I never feel comfortable eating these things in the public. I don't have a concrete idea why, because this has now become, like, as I said, I'm 2 decades older, right? And in all these 2 decades, I have had a fair share of situations thrown at me where I felt humiliated. And nobody is like publicly humiliating me. It was just a sense of self. It was, I don't know. And now what is wrong with eating oranges in public? You just peel it off, right? No. When you eat a single piece of orange, there are seeds, and now you need to have a hand to catch, or you need to have something to catch those seeds. So basically, orange is already in your mouth, and which means seeds have now touched every part of your mouth. So they are now coated. The seed is now coated with your saliva. It has been salivated. It's glazed with your saliva, right? And now it has to come out of your mouth. How does it come? It can either come in your palm or some other container. And so I was eating oranges when I was like looking at people running 300 meters, 400 meters, 500 meters relay races. I never understood the meaning of, actually I did. Also in the sports meet, I like some teachers told me that I should like audition. I should like give a trial. They had a game that was called I don't remember the name of the game. It's like a stick, it's like a stick, and you throw it in the air, and you have to measure how far. Means the person who threw the stick the farthest, he or she is the winner. I don't know. I think it's called the javelin throw. I could be wrong. I don't know. But one of my teachers told me that, hey, you should not audition. You should like give a try for that. And I was like, no, thank you. So I was sitting on my chair, and this time around was like 12 or 1 p.m. There were not a lot of people sitting close to me, because some people were maybe, some were like, I don't know, there was like it was a chaotic situation. There are people who are managing the sports. There are people who are like running, someone is doing that throw thing, they had these big giant balls of like kilograms, and they were like doing something about it. And there were people, kids, friend circles and all that, and I was lucky because I was sitting alone, not all the time, but during that time. And I thought to myself, okay, this is the best time, I need to eat my oranges. So I grabbed the lunchbox out of my bag, started eating oranges, and as if it was like planned by the universe, two kids, they were my junior, they were boys, and those two boys, they were like talking, and then they came and sat next to me. The moment I started eating oranges, they came and sat next to me. And now I'm nervous because I don't want to eat oranges anymore because you are sitting next to me. I am nervous, public anxiety and all that. And this also tells me that public anxiety within me has been persistent since decades. So that means, was I born with it? I don't know. But the fact is, they were sitting next to me and I don't want to eat oranges anymore. But I cannot stop eating oranges, because if I do this, scenario one, if I stop eating oranges, pack my lunchbox and put it back into the school bag, there's a chance that those boys, those juniors are gonna think that, what a creep, like we didn't ask for. Now that's ugly for me to think, but I was thinking this, that if I pack my lunchbox and put it back, there's a high probability that those kids are gonna think, dude, you can continue eating, we are not even gonna ask for it if you don't want to share. And that's not the point, but that went into my head. So I couldn't stop eating, I had to eat it. But now I can. What about the seed thing? How do I dispose the seeds? I cannot like publicly put my hand now, because earlier I had the advantage, nobody was sitting around me, and that was the very reason I started eating oranges. And now these two kids are sitting next to me, so I had no choice but to swallow the seeds. I ate complete oranges, and now the most weird thing happened while I was like on my 5th or 6th orange. So there are like 12 pieces, right? So while I was on my 5th or 6th, I guess, one of the kids he asked me, he said that, dude, are you also eating the seeds? And now I am almost panicking. So as I think when I think I was in 3rd or 4th grade, right? So as we say, these are the foundational years. When you're in class 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these are the foundational years. And that was a time when I think I really nailed the concept of being a compulsive liar for the rest of my life. Because I said to them that, actually these oranges are specially imported. My dad had a friend who works in importing oranges, and they basically produce seedless oranges. I said this, and that boy, that junior, he said, oh, okay, cool. That's all the conversation that went. And I was now nervous because there are, sometimes you can see the seeds when you're eating the orange, like through that, what will you call it, the outer covering of orange, parchment, I don't know. So like, now I was nervous. What if anything happens? And I quickly just grabbed the orange, like not even with like this, not even like grabbing like this, but full on grabbing like orange, so that they cannot see that there could be potential seeds inside it, and just started eating them. I had no choice. And that was the time, I think, that was like a formative moment in history, because the concept of eating in public has always been a concerning issue for me, because I don't know why. I can never eat noodles in public. I have done that, but I always end up regretting that. I always end up regretting eating these things in public. If it's with my sister, if it's with one of my best friends who's almost like a brother to me, it's a different scenario. But just casually eating these things in public, it's a different thing. It's a very different sort of panic. Not panic. Panic is not the right word, actually. It's a different sort of public fear, like a phobia. So I think that was the time I realized that I am a compulsive liar, because I just spinned it up so quickly. I randomly said to him that, yeah, I have a dad. I have a dad. My dad have a friend who runs this establishment or a company where they are importing seedless oranges. And the moment he said, "Oh, cool," he said, "Oh, okay, dude, cool." I spiraled internally, maybe, because I was like, how can somebody believe this? Because I myself could not believe. It was that situation. Like, sometimes I think I'm a writer. I write a lot. But there are situations like that where I simply cannot. There are scenarios that have happened in my life. I cannot put them into words. I cannot like explain them. By the way, I didn't even wrote the proper notes here. All I wrote was, sitting in that stadium and watching sports was the last thing I wanted to do. It's not that I don't like sports, I don't like playing them. But I guess, isn't that the same thing? I don't like moving my body outdoors, like in a playground or a stadium under the sun. So this happened in 2007. Maybe our school would, maybe, yeah. So this happened in 2007, maybe. Our school would host an annual 2-day sports ritual. And I also wrote ritual here. I don't know. What would you call it? Sports event? Yeah, better actually. Sports event is better. So that's all I wanted to share. And what else? What else? What else? What else?